Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vimoh Live. This is a live stream that happens on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. I said 30. 9:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. We usually discuss issues that have to do with contemporary culture, most commonly atheism, religion, culture, Indian politics, and whatever else has been going on in our vicinity, uh, or even in the subcontinent. But sometimes we talk about the bigger meta, which is the medium through which we are talking to each other. Today's topic is social media. Last week's episode was about a specific social media company by the name of Twitter, which is now being owned by not the brightest bulb in the room, Elon Musk, and the fate that it is undergoing. Today, we are going to talk about whether, as a content creator or a content consumer, we are in a we are suffering more or benefiting more from our constant exposure to social media news feeds. So I will be joined in this conversation by a guest. But before I do that, I'll just like to remind everyone that this live stream is monetized. If you want to support this podcast, you can do so by clicking the join button below and becoming a member. And you can also send super chats in the live chat while the conversation is on. If you are listening to this as audio at a later point of time on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Ghana.com, GeoSavan, etc., I would really appreciate it if you could leave a rating or a review for the show. Every app has some option, use it. Spotify has a rating system, give it a 5-star rating. Apple Podcast has a review system, try to write a review or give a rating. And also share the episode with whoever you know. And before I proceed, I think we have been joined by our guest. His name is Meghnad, and here he is. Hi, Meghnad.
Hello.
Oh wow,
Hi.
your audio
How are
is.
you
Let
doing?
me let me reduce my volume. My
Wait,
ears
is
just
my
exploded. No, no, I think it's my
oh.
system. My yeah. Hmm. Cool. So what's up?
How are you doing?
Chal Rabus. Why is your face so yellow?
Is it? Should I make it different color? Is it blue now?
Are you projecting the cosmos on the background?
Oh yeah. This is my
That's
new
very cool.
YouTube background. So there is an on-air sign which basically is too bright, so it just
Oh,
shows
okay.
like a light. But I
Oh
have
no,
to
no, it
figure
shows.
that
I
one
can
out.
read on air. I can read on air there.
Yeah, but if I turn it on,
Hmm.
it becomes like so bright that you can't see the on air. So I have to
Oh, okay.
figure out a better camera or something there. So
So there is
yeah,
a
it's
light
just there.
coming. There's a light coming at your face from your screen,
Yeah.
right? And
No,
is there
no.
another light?
There's a light here. There's a projector here, and
Yeah.
there is
Which one
that
of
on
those
air
lights
sign.
is yellow?
This one, the
Yeah.
one
So
that
it,
I'm
it
looking
keeps
at.
cycling, right? Because right now it's not. Anyway, why are we obsessing about Meghnad's lights? This, today's topic is lighting systems used by podcasters because they're audio first. So you know what's been happening with Twitter, right? We have had
Yeah,
conversations about this on Mastodon and stuff. So I wanted to get your views about something very specific. First of
yeah.
all, do you think Elon Musk is trying to shut down Twitter? And number two, do you think the kind of problems that Twitter got afflicted with over a long period of time, do you think the same can happen to Mastodon?
Okay, so first question. So there are many theories floating around, right? So let's just maybe try to figure out why Elon bought it in the first place.
Hmm.
One is, of course, that he might be forced to buy it because he couldn't back out of the deal, so he had to do it. Second, most obvious thing is it's an ego exercise. So everybody basically was like, oh, you can do whatever, you're taking us to Mars, you're putting internet in space. So he's like, running a social media company, what gives, I can do that too.
Hmm.
He's not a software guy, he's an
Hmm.
engineer, right? He can
Yeah.
build things, he can make hardware. Software is not exactly where he's good at. He has tried it before, and like people can look up the history there. But yeah, so like just to assume that he would be automatically good at sort of managing a social media company is a bit insane to me.
Hmm.
But of course, it's Elon Musk, so and people were like, oh, yeah, yeah, kharido, kharido, and he, I think, bought it as a meme, and he is now basically doing what he's doing. Um,
So you
he
don't think
likes doing this.
you don't think he's deliberately trying to shut it down?
So the other theory, coming to the
Hmm.
other theory, which is essentially that there is this article I read. Okay, so when I said that, oh, so Elon Musk is incompetent, etc., on Mastodon only, someone shared an article with me about how there is this global shift happening in the world order, and Twitter is actually detrimental to that because it is giving a lot of information to people which they should not have, and therefore, this person who is the agent of the new world order is kind of shutting it down. So, yeah,
So the person who
those are
said
the few theories.
the person who said Elon Musk is an agent of the new world order
Hmm.
is someone who's a conservative because new world order nonsense is peddled by them only.
Not so sure because
Because
what
I would like
he.
the way I'm coming
Hmm.
at it, like if Twitter is to be treated as a weapon to be used by any political side, who is it more used to, the right wing or the left wing?
It is obviously useful to the people who have money,
Yeah.
which is it's a case with all social media
Mm.
companies. If you have money, you throw your opinions at everybody's faces, and you get yourself now. Though of course you can get yourself verified and do all the things with money. Of course, you can buy bots, you can spam
Yeah.
Twitter, you can spam anything. So social media companies, you know that, you know the drill. So obviously, in a larger picture, social media companies are sort of geared towards helping those with wealth
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
sort of increase their influence
They're
and
even
wealth
run by
more.
people with wealth.
Of course, it is run
Yeah.
by now, though. Of course,
Hmm.
um, and so if you think about it that way, it definitely benefits them, right?
Hmm.
It benefits the corporations, it benefits those who advertise, it benefits those who basically want this giant community or user base to tap into so that they can sell them their products. That is who they benefit. So I don't buy the argument that he'll try to destroy it, because it will be kind of like shooting himself in the foot, because he can effectively use Twitter, he has, to actually sell things and himself.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest
Crypto and stuff.
reasons why he's the yeah, because one of the biggest reasons why he's the richest man today is because of his self image.
Hmm.
Like the company is valued so much, despite all the other problems that it has
Hmm.
many, Tesla's catching fire and all the other things, workers not being treated better. Despite that, his company is at like all-time highs. The reason is because of his personal image, and
Yeah.
Twitter is the perfect place for him to build that brand up. So for him to destroy it doesn't make sense to me, like
Okay.
logically.
So I am personally like I'm slightly in disagreement with it, but I've spoken about it enough, and you have read that also.
Hmm.
But what you said about Elon Musk being making money from his image reminds me of this thing I heard about the Kardashians. They're famous because they're famous.
They're famous because they're famous. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. That's a great saying. Yeah. Yeah, that makes you think.
So the next question was the problems that afflict Twitter. Do you think Mastodon suffering from it at some point of time in the future? Because here are the different things. The Mastodon is not
Hmm.
by rich people; it is distributed. Mastodon may have some architectural problems, but those problems are probably going to be different from the architectural problems of Twitter. Twitter's problem was scale.
Yeah.
Mastodon has scale sorted because it's all different servers with interoperability.
Yeah.
But recently, did you hear about the Journa.host controversy?
No, I haven't.
So there's a Mastodon server called for journalists, Journa.host, Journa.host.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, some people were unhappy that on that server were certain journalists who had problematic views.
Okay.
Now, the purpose of the server is to have journalists on it. And some
Yeah.
journalists will have views that you don't agree with. And those
Yeah.
views may be even toxic. Like, transphobic journalists exist, homophobic journalists exist, casteist, racist journalists exist. So, if the criteria that a certain journalist is transphobic is used to ban an entire server, then are we not running into the problem? And this is where the architecture bit comes in. Are we not running into the problem of Mastodon also becoming like, मैंने mastodon.social ज्वाइन किया और अब मैं किसी भी जर्नलिस्ट को फॉलो नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि सारे के सारे एक सर्वर पे हैं.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
going to be a different kind of problem, right?
Actually, that's true. I mean, I hadn't heard of this, and that is one problem that I also
Hmm.
anticipated. That what these instances servers are essentially are they are like bubbles by their own, right? Like which is like this Fediverse thing, which they are
Hmm.
connecting all these servers together. You
Yeah.
can be on one server, and it has its own rules, right?
Yeah.
So you can block an entire server, right? Now that is the problem there also, because I mean, for all the oh, we don't like absolute free speech or whatever. I think people go a little too far also sometimes,
Hmm.
which is the left, like which is
Yeah.
the favorite argument of conservatives that oh, you are shutting down free speech.
Hmm.
Mastodon is actually a great tool to do that, to be honest,
Hmm.
for everyone, which is like
Hmm.
so there is this bunch of people who believe in one particular thing, and it is never one particular thing, but it is assumed that oh, so this server is full of racists, or this
Hmm.
server is full of
Yeah, so that
bugs or
assumption,
whatever.
my point is that if right now we are in a place where most Mastodon, like Mastodon, I don't know if Mastodon in general has a charter that certain
Hmm.
views will not be allowed.
Hmm.
Right now, it seems that most people are in agreement that we are not going to allow homophobes, transphobes, racists, bigots, etc. The system is this. Is it possible for at some point of time in the future that most people are going to be okay with bigotry and then Mastodon will become something else entirely?
But that's my thing, right? Like, so for example, if we start a server, let's say, right,
Hmm.
like both
Hmm.
of us start a server and we get like your followers to join,
Hmm.
and my followers to join, right? So let's say there are around, let's say, 50 people who join.
Hmm.
Out of those 50 people, if say three of them are extremely racist, right?
Hmm.
If three of them are homophobic, and
Yeah.
if say three more are something else, like which
Yeah.
is hated by other people, right? Is that a reflection of the other 50 people in that server also? Because
Hmm.
these two or three people might go out and start trolling people or saying nasty shit, or like
Hmm.
creating havoc. Now our server will be judged based on these few people, which will be the loudest voice which
Yeah.
is happening in
Yeah.
every
Yeah. Yeah.
social
Yeah.
media, right?
Yeah.
So now if you think about it, if these like representatives are going out and sort of trolling like one server after the other, we will
Hmm.
be completely blocked by all the popular servers just immediately, right? And with
Yeah.
no fault of our own, because we'll be like okay, I guess उनको allow नहीं करना चाहिए था.
Hmm.
So what do? We remove them. But then do we have the ability to actually talk to all the servers that have blocked us saying the अच्छा
Yeah.
boss हमने वो problematic लोग निकाल दिए, now please remove our ban? Why would we do that also? It's so much effort to do that. It's a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah. Yeah.
nuts, right? um I feel like instead of outright banning, there should be server timeouts. Like like for 3 days this server is not visible to you, right? And then the
Hmm.
admins can sort of sort it between themselves, whether they want to allow it, or whether you're going to remove these people or not, or what. That negotiation needs to
See,
happen.
I have
But
another question about this, which is
mm,
that if you time out a server, what does the server lose? Because in the case
so
of
the
Twitter, a 3-day timeout, if 3 days Twitter is taken offline by a government, Twitter loses money, right?
yeah.
So they have an incentive to try to do things that will not get them off.
Hmm.
What does a Mastodon server with 3,000 users lose if another server is not allowing its users to not follow anyone on the server for 3 days?
So I hope it will be a little more democratic in this sort of a
Hmm.
situation, because just going back to say our hypothetical server,
Hmm.
what will happen is, say one big server sort of blocks us, right? And then we come to know about it that it's because of these people. So because
Hmm.
of the timeout, maybe like other people, other members in the server will also notice that, oh, but guys, we can't access this one gay. So the admins will also be like sort of more in not incentivized really, but more eager to sort of talk to that server or their admins and figure it out between themselves, right?
Okay.
Then they will tell them, oh, so this is happening, you're on timeout for 3 days, please sort it within 3 days. If you don't do it, then maybe we might
Hmm.
ban you. So that is what I was coming to, like
I think I think another
maybe.
solution might be to make it like suppose I'm on a server that you and I created, and then you found another server which is full of bigots, and
Hmm.
I thought that it's not a huge problem for me. I still want to hear what some of them say. Now you ban the entire server and I don't have access to that. So
Hmm.
maybe I should have the power to make an exception in the case of individual accounts. Like, sure, my server has banned that entire server, but if I want to receive updates from two people on that server, then I
Hmm.
should be able to like make a couple of extra steps. Yeah, allow this person's thing to appear on my feed, and then maybe that would be a better thing.
Yeah, but also, like, I was wondering, I don't know if this happens already. I haven't seen it. So, if this journal.host was banned by Mastodon Social, then I got
I
no
don't think it
alert.
was. I don't think it was. All I saw was some people outraging about the fact that it had problematic people, and they also said that some servers had banned it. I'm not sure if Mastodon.social banned it, but someone
Hmm.
had taken some action against it.
But do I get an alert if it does get banned?
No, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Mastodon has the potential to be way more opaque than
Hmm.
Twitter ever was, unless they make like
Hmm.
significant changes to the architecture, which is why I was talking about architecture. But yeah,
No,
that
absolutely. I mean, there are problems. I can see some happening. I mean, of course, I haven't quit Twitter. I
yeah.
mean, I'm still there. I access
Hmm.
it from my desktop instead of my phone.
Hmm.
Like I've reduced my activity significantly. Also, because I've seen like my engagement go down there. For some reason, I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe also because I don't really post many political things anymore. It's just like too much.
Hmm.
Um, I'm just promoting my stuff. But of course, that never really got that much engagement. And
Hmm.
you said to me, right, that Twitter is actually a terrible platform for engagement, like,
Twitter,
link clicks or whatever.
I'm reasonably certain that there are certain prohibitions on my account because there are certain words that I can just use and I'm 100% sure it'll get like 2 likes. And
Mm,
the very
mm,
next tweet will get 500 likes. So
mm.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's my account or just a general algorithmic thing, but it comes and goes. On some days it is better. But Twitter, regardless of that, Twitter is a terrible link sharing place. You can share
Yeah,
a
yeah, it
link.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Hmm,
People don't follow links on Twitter.
hmm,
You have
hmm,
more luck on Facebook, by the way, because on Facebook, at least, uh, a YouTube video will play right there. I mean, even Twitter has it. But in
hmm.
my experience, Twitter has been a terrible link sharing place. It used to be great, by the way.
Instagram is actually great for that.
For link,
Instagram
you
stories.
Instagram stories, may if you put a link, it gets a lot of traffic. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
But that
yeah.
may just be because there is no other place where you can share a link on Instagram.
That's also true. That's also
I
true.
one of my greatest frustrations in life is people who copy paste links in Instagram comments. I'm like, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है इससे बंद
कुछ
करो.
नहीं.
Like, am I supposed to memorize the link and then type it into
Yeah,
Google browser?
yeah,
So,
that's
since
true.
you mentioned not using Twitter, I was wondering if we can just segue into the mental health aspect of it because on the thumbnail of this video it says quit social media, but
Hmm.
I realize I'm talking to someone who has quit media. Forget social.
Yeah. Yes.
So, what kind of mental health issues like you guys when you were in news laundry, one of the big parts of the job for you must have been going through a lot of toxic news coverage, a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
toxic social media, dealing with it, answering it, writing it down so that you may make a response. So what kind of a toll does that take on someone whose job it is to engage with it?
I have PTSD straight up. Like there, like after I quit News Laundry, for instance, um, I think I quit in sometime at end June. Right, June is when it ended. For straight, like I think 2 months, I would
Hmm.
wake up and I would have PTSD of, oh shit, kuch to bhi ho gaya, I missed something, right? Or
Yeah.
like, oh, script likhna hai. Oh
Hmm.
shit, I have to solve this. And then I had to tell myself, calm down, you're not working there anymore. Like literally when so my brain was sort of tuned to this fact, right, that if I see a piece of news, right, people on Twitter are talking about it, it's a big news or whatever, I'm looking at it and my brain immediately starts forming a response, so which I have to give on Twitter, or can
Hmm.
I do a script on it, or can I do an explainer video on it? Is there something to sort of untangle there? Do I need to watch other sources to actually debunk them? All
Hmm.
those things just keep happening. It took me so long to get out of that mode. It still happens to me, right, where I'm
Hmm.
reading some news and I'm like, oh, iska to main script bana sakta hu, iska to main ye kar sakta hu, but then I have to tell myself I don't need to do that anymore. So
Yeah.
there is definitely that sort of a thing, because I immediately went into this zone which was very depressing also for me. um like it somehow made me feel like I had some sort of responsibility towards my audience, to deliver. Like, for example, even now, like if you look at some of my comments, people are like, oh, please tell us what is happening in parliament, right? Please tell us what is
Yeah.
happening in the policy space. Nobody's telling us anymore, like we used to follow you.
Hmm.
And I I don't want to disappoint them, but I'm also like so frustrated with this entire thing,
Hmm.
that should I take that responsibility? Is it my responsibility to do that? Is a big question I'm asking now. Should I not do something else that I like to do personally and keeps me happier?
Hmm.
Like, my relationship with my partner has improved. My relationship with just generally my house has improved. Like, I am better. I keep things better. I'm like just a better person now,
Hmm.
because I don't have this obsessive need to say things.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's a big difference, and I feel just generally more happy now. So yeah, if that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Because I'm kind of sort of going through something similar. Someone in the chat actually pointed out about my Discord server. I announced a couple of weeks
Hmm.
ago that I'm going to delete it, like in January.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I left a note for the people on the server. I said that, I would be deleting the server, partly because I'm reducing the number of notifications that my phone sends me. So that means Twitter is gone, Instagram will be gone,
Hmm.
Discord will be gone. Uh, but I am also someone who uses Instagram on an intense level,
Hmm.
not because I'm sharing pictures of my food or because I'm an influencer, but because I feel the urge to write about contemporary events. And the only
Hmm.
platform that has ever given me any kind of returns for that is Instagram, right?
Right.
So I'm I have been in like two minds about whether quitting social media is the way to do it. But I also
Hmm.
realized that I'm at a point in life where I am also in need of improving relationships outside of
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
room. Like I have a family, and
Hmm.
I'm not paying attention to a lot of things that I should. I have been intending to write more seriously and deeply for a number of years
Yeah.
now, and I haven't been able to do that. Uh, I have picked up some better habits in recent times, like I'm waking up at 5 a.m. writing, uh, not actually turning on this computer in the daytime.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've started subscribing to an actual newspaper, which I sit in the afternoon and I read it. I have bought a
Hmm.
radio so that entertainment या फिर न्यूज़ के लिए मुझे हर रोज़ स्क्रीन टाइम के ऊपर डिपेंड ना करना पड़े.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that all is there. And I've realized कि Twitter I can stop using. Twitter I want to delete, but I can't. My biggest fear of deleting Twitter is that somebody will take the username Vimo, and there will be screenshots
Oh,
all over the place with my my name on it, and I will
yeah, yeah,
not be
yeah.
able to do anything. कोई blue tick भी ले लेगा उसके ऊपर. उसके बाद
Yeah,
तो
yeah, yeah.
गया ही. So
No, no, I'm not
Instagram,
deleting my account at all. That
yeah, yeah,
username is blue forever. That so
yeah.
I'm
I'll let
keeping.
Elon Musk do that. At some point
Yeah,
of time, when
yeah,
I'm really frustrated, I'll just change my name to Elon Musk. Right? I am a turd, and
yeah.
then get my account deleted. सो इंस्टाग्राम मैं फ़ोन से डिलीट कर दूँगा और इंस्टाग्राम को खाली वेब के थ्रू यूज़ करूँगा, हफ्ते में 1
Yeah.
बार या कुछ या फिर इस सब को प्रमोट करने के लिए। बट आई फाइंड दैट द अ बेटर वे टू डू व्हाट आई डू इज़ टू क्रिएट लॉन्ग फॉर्म कंटेंट लाइक दिस, वेयर आई कैन
Hmm.
डू इट एज़ अ पॉडकास्ट, अ कन्वर्सेशन बिकॉज़ वी कैन गो डीपर इंटो थिंग्स।
Exactly. And
या,
that is the mode that have also arrived in.
या इवन विथ योर
Now I
वर्क
know for
बिकॉज़ यू हैव गॉन
yeah,
ओवर
yeah.
टू पॉडकास्टिंग।
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, for example, like I keep getting these questions from a lot of people, and I still like get these questions about, say, just the parliament thing, right?
हुँ,
Like, why aren't you talking about these things? Like, there are so many things that are happening which we don't
या,
know about anymore.
या, या।
And for I realized this after quitting, that I was actually genuinely a big source of news for so many people.
हुँ,
And it was shocking to me because
या,
nobody
या,
spoke up
या।
when I was there. And then, like, I was like, wait, what? You actually followed my work? That's crazy, right? So
इट्स लाइक दे आर मिसिंग यू आफ्टर यू आर गॉन।
yeah, because जब मैं
लाइक
था तो मुझे बस
यू बीइंग
गालियां
टेकन
पड़ती
फॉर
थी.
ग्रांटेड।
I don't know
हाँ,
exactly what happened there, right? Because जब मैं था तो मुझे YouTube के नीचे बस गालियां ही पड़ती थी कि अरे
हुँ,
तेरी दाढ़ी देख ले, तू फ्लिपकार्ट वाला बच्चा लगता है टाइप्स. I mean, that's fine, but like, it's just terrible, right? And
हुँ,
so now that I've quit, all the people who were watching but not speaking are actually telling me that, oh, by the way, why did you quit? And oh, we miss your parliament coverage or whatever. I'm like, boss, ये मतलब पहले बोलना था ना. Like I was under the impression कि मुझे कोई देख ही नहीं रहा है. Like I mean,
Hmm.
बस गालियां ही पड़ रही है मुझे. So I think it's also like maybe a societal thing, right? Like you don't say good things to people anymore.
Hmm.
What the difference between Twitter and Mastodon is very stark because of that. Because on Mastodon, I find that people are willing to say nicer things, just generally. Like they'll just say, "Oh, hello, how are you? Are you having a good day?" Even if you hear that, it's like, "Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks for asking." But on Twitter,
Well, I think it may be because Mastodon is
nobody
new
does.
right now.
I agree, but I'm willing to stay till that phase is
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah.
I mean, I'm looking for
You'll be
something
like,
like that, to be
"अरे ये
honest.
क्या Mastodon में आग लग गई, मैं जा रहा हूँ फिर," and then you'll leave.
एब्सोल्युटली आई मीन कहाँ पे ऑर्कुट से तो हम फेसबुक पे आए फेसबुक से हम ट्विटर पे आए ट्विटर से
Twitter.
अब यहाँ पे आ गए अब आगे जाके
Was it
पता नहीं क्या
Orkut?
होगा लाइक हु नोज
Did you ever have a MySpace account?
आई डिड एट सम
Okay.
पॉइंट बट वेरी रेयरली आई हैड हाई फाइव
Yeah, Hi-Fi
डू
was
you
very
remember
weird. By the way, I had some really weird experience on Hi-Fi. I got a Hi-Fi account, and then I forgot about it. And then a couple of several months later, I logged back into it, and it was someone else's account.
oh wow
Like it was
oh
some
that's
Vijay Trivedi, different photo, different age. I was like, what? It's my email address. My like something terrible had happened in the back end, and I was super confused. But this was also a time when nobody had internet, so it wasn't a big deal. Today it would happen like ये कैसे कर सकते हो कंपनी मैं
yeah
उसका
yeah
स्क्रीनशॉट लेके कहीं डालता कंपनी को बहुत एम्बैरेसमेंट है वो सब
there were
बट
no
इट वाज
verifications back
yeah
then
yeah
also right so it was easy to just impersonate someone else
so this person not
uh,
only managed to I think it was a like back end flip flop कुछ हुआ था but because this person was not actually claiming to be me he was claiming to be
huh.
himself it's just that my email and password were logging into his account I don't know how that happened it was very
Was it?
weird
Was it? Didn't High Five have some Indian connection? Was it an
yeah yeah yeah
Indian
yeah
thing?
I think it was
It was, right?
yeah
Yeah, because I remember High Five Messenger having like this whole ad campaign at some point. And someone is saying that they miss Orkut. Like,
yeah a
yeah,
lot of
in
people are
your
saying they
chat.
missed out good yeah yeah
Yeah, I like the testimonials you used to give people. I used to go to people and say, "Hey, testimonial लिख देना मेरे लिए एक अच्छा
हाँ
सा कुछ तो भी लिख देना मेरे लिए." I was like, okay. And my cousin and all had written like testimonials for me. I was like, cool, man. Like we've met like 3 times in life, but thanks. I was like,
मेरे मैं तो मतलब मैं मेरे you remember the train bombings in Mumbai 7/11
hmm. Yeah.
सो उस टाइम पे किसी के पास खबर भेजने का कोई तरीका नहीं था एंड द बॉम्बिंग्स हैपेंड आई वाज आउटसाइड बांद्रा स्टेशन एंड आई somehow managed to find a cab home and when I was on my home I continuously tried to I kept trying to call my family but mobile networks were jammed because everyone was calling someone SMS was not going so what I did was I went to a cyber cafe and I wrote in my scrapbook myself I am okay please don't worry about me and fortunately a bunch of people did get that message
Oh, yeah.
so
It was like leaving scraps is what it was
yeah,
called, right?
leaving scraps.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now it sounds so strange. I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
leaving
No,
scraps?
even
But
Facebook had wall posts for some time.
wall, Facebook
Wall.
wall, I remember.
"ए
You used
तूने
to
उसके वॉल
post
पे
on
ये
your
क्या लिखा हुआ
wall.
है?"
Exactly. I was like,
It
it's
was on a
fun.
wall only. It was very weird.
Before it
Uh,
became a timeline.
Facebook keeps changing. Like Facebook's biggest problem is that it never managed to become a thing. It kept trying to become so many different things. But yeah, different matter. Uh,
I think
so
the best phase of Facebook was when I was playing Farmville on it. Obsessively. I think that was the best phase of Facebook because I used to diligently go and like,
हाँ,
oh, 6 घंटा हो गया मेरा कॉर्न अभी हार्वेस्ट करना है मुझे like तो I used to do that. I was like, what? But seriously, that was like the best phase. I was like, oh, चलो उसके farm पे जाके देखते
I
हैं and his
never got
crops
into
are
Farmville.
dead.
Like you're telling me this
Oh,
right now, and I'm like, oh wow, that was a thing. I never got into Farmville. I never got into any
oh, I
browser
was
based game actually.
obsessed. I think Facebook is now just old people. Mm,
Yeah,
old
yeah, it
people,
is. It is.
mostly
There's
my
Facebook.
mom posts there.
Totally,
Um,
absolutely. Like, Facebook is the only people I know who use Facebook are my father's generation.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
My
before I move,
dad got
when you,
into it recently, and I was like,
recently,
okay, you got into Facebook right now. Exactly, recently. He was like, so he's traveling now because 60 ho gaya, so he's traveling, so he has so many photos. And my mom keeps posting, and then he's like, oh, I'll also post. So then he got into Facebook to just do that. And also his school friends also asked him ki, oh, send us photos and post it. So I'm like,
so
okay, that was fast.
that actually brings me to a very interesting point that I would like to get your opinion on. But before that, let me just take a look at a couple of comments.
Yeah,
Robert Woolstone, thank you for the 40 rupee super chat. Hi Vimo, how are you? I created a YouTube channel. Oh, great, Robert. Please send me a link by email. I'll check it out. Uh, Aditya says, Meghnad, you were a part of News Laundry and we actually paid NL to keep up the good work that included your work too. Wow, that's so
thank
sweet.
you so much. That's very sweet.
Uh, Samad says, I use Facebook just to read Ravish Kumar's updates. अरे रविश कुमार का तो अब यूट्यूब चैनल भी हो गया है.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, is there any truth to the fact that he's leaving NDTV?
I asked him
Hmm.
personally.
Hmm.
He said कि अभी तो पता नहीं है. Like because of that Adani thing is still a
When did
little
you ask
stuck.
him?
I think 2 months ago.
अच्छा, no,
Last
I'm
month.
talking. अच्छा, okay.
Wait. Diwali कब था?
मुझे नहीं पता.
Last month. हाँ,
ये
last
दीदी
month.
वो
Last
last
month.
month.
Yeah, last month.
अच्छा, अच्छा,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. So he's
Samad,
uncertain right now. He's just
okay.
seeing what is
No, but
going
it's
to
good
happen.
that he
But
started a YouTube channel.
yeah, also the reason why he did that was it was very funny because there were like a
Multiple people were
many
impersonating him.
accounts who
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
started his account. So
हाँ.
just wanted his own, so he started that. Also, don't
Samad.
mind, I'm just going to entertain your audience by killing some machar around me. So yeah.
Samar says, why this talk suddenly makes me feel that we need Vimo's Discord server more than Meghnad. Please put me
Hmm.
out of my misery and start resume your Discord channel so that all my people
Oh
can
my
go there.
god. Mm. Guys, I have run 3 Discord servers now, and I've deleted each and every one of them.
Yeah,
It gets too much. I
yeah,
mean, for the admin,
yeah,
if there are voluntary admins who basically run my Discord server for me, I would love that. But it devolves into just chaos most of the time, and it becomes a cult like situation. I
yeah.
actually started a Discord server to maintain a cult, and I was just like, oh, we are the most self-aware cult in the universe type, and then it actually became a cult. So that was the problem. So yeah.
No, but Discord feels like a WhatsApp on your phone, but the difference between Discord and WhatsApp is that WhatsApp is like one stream of conversation with one person, right? Discord के अंदर इतने subcategories हैं कि it's kind of sort of a full-time job if you want to do justice to it. So I would happily run a Discord server if I didn't have a YouTube channel, didn't have a podcast, didn't have a newsletter, didn't have any social media to worry about, because then I'll be able to do justice to it. I'll be able to type
Yeah.
the whole day,
Yeah.
ban people, block people, add a feature, remove feature, what's up, but it's actually a lot of work, especially for someone in my condition who is trying to turn this next year into a very different kind of lifestyle altogether, where I'll be coming
Hmm.
here. By the way, if in case anyone is worried about that, uh, I am going to start members only live streams sometime in January or February, so that everyone who's a paying member here, they can come there and we can have separate discussions, and those places can serve as a kind of private space.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
maybe you can look forward to that.
That's a good idea because I was also thinking on like I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Because
Hmm.
now that I've left News Laundry, with IVM, I have a non-exclusive contract. With
Hmm.
News Laundry, I was exclusive, so I couldn't
Okay.
make videos, I couldn't do anything else.
Hmm.
Um, and but now with IVM, they are actually encouraging me to do more things,
Hmm.
because their logic is that, listen, you're a creator. If you do more things outside, I mean,
Yeah,
you are
it
वैसे
comes to IVM.
IVM, so
Yeah,
then it comes to IVM, right? The
yeah.
audience comes to IVM, which makes sense to me actually.
Hmm.
So now I'm like trying to do my own YouTube channel, do some live streams, etc.
The link to Meghnad's
I
channel is the title of this video. It's called Meghnad. Click on it and subscribe to it if you have not.
Yes, please do. And then I've been always wanting to do more gaming content. So like today, before recording this, I did like 2 hours of recording one game. So I'm going to do like let's play series of the favorite game I'm playing, because all of that. um then the other thing that I'm trying to do consciously now is Instagram,
Hmm.
reels, essentially. Like I
Yeah.
really like editing, so like I'm learning that. So I'm just trying to pick up these skills and see where I can apply them. Uh, so far, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
When I stop having fun, I'll stop. I mean, I don't owe anyone anything, to be honest. Just trying to find a way to see where my audience is now, more or less, and I want to match it to my interests also. Because earlier, sure, Parliament is my interest, but that is just one of my interests, and it is a very toxic interest also. So that was my problem. Now I'm
Yeah.
just trying to see, like, there are things that make me happier, like talking about philosophy, talking about atheism, or just delving deep into topics, which I'm doing with ELI 10, the flagship podcast that I
Hmm.
have, right? I've always wanted to do a true crime, so I'm going to work on that now,
You mean a true
which is
crime
coming
podcast?
soon. Yeah, true crime
Yeah.
podcast coming
You shouldn't
soon.
say I have always wanted to do true crime. That's
No,
just
no, I
like,
didn't want to do personally true crime.
I have a writer friend who writes uh, crime based stories, right? And he once said that I really like crime. I want to do more crime.
No, I don't want to do crime. I want to talk about crime, true crime, but with a twist, which I'm doing. I want to do more fiction narrative stuff. So, which I'm also like
Hmm.
developing a few podcasts with IVM
Nice.
for that.
Yeah.
So, so I'm sort of diversifying in a way, but I'm really enjoying myself doing it now. Also, I have to write a book,
Yeah.
which has been such a nightmare for me till I was with News Laundry, because I wasn't able to.
Hmm.
Now I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm on fire. I'm going to
Yeah. Yeah.
finish
Yeah.
this in the next
Uh,
month. So
I wouldn't say I'm on fire, but I'm definitely burning. Like my book is going slow and steady. The other day, I was researching food habits of different people all over the world, and like I was co-writing with a friend, not co-writing the book with a friend, but my friend was writing something else, and I kept disturbing her. Hey, honey कहाँ पे खाया जाता है mostly? And she was like, grammatical question पूछ सकता है ये सब मत पूछ. But yeah, I wanted to come back to the question about old people using Facebook. Uh, so Facebook as a social network is kind of gone towards the older demographic, but I
yeah,
find a lot of younger people who are on, let's say, TikTok or Instagram, etc. They're increasingly posting videos saying, "I'm tired of social media. I'm quitting social media." This is like if you just type "quit social media," it's mostly teenagers,
yeah.
almost
Mm.
exclusively teenagers. So is this like a generational shift? Like the older people went from yeah, kya social media, and now they're like full time. सारा का सारा news propaganda videos are Facebook से मिल रहा है. And then there is a younger generation who's becoming increasingly aware that this is a time suck, a mind suck,
Hmm.
and just generally a suck.
Hmm. I think that is why Snapchat is growing.
It is growing
Snapchat,
seriously.
yeah. Snapchat apparently is now growing. It's now Snap Inc., I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So from last, I think I met someone who was from Snapchat, and they, during the pandemic, they saw great growth. And while other social media platforms went down, I think they have more or less maintained that growth, which is very interesting. I feel like the nature is very different, right?
I know, I know.
So for
Like I was on Snapchat for a week or so, and I found it very relaxing because there was no fear of archival stuff. You know, you post
yeah,
something, it's gone in 24 hours. It's like Instagram ka kya hai? They stole the feature from Snapchat, but they are
yeah,
still an archival service. Like there is
yeah.
record, there is everything.
Yeah. And also, like Ishita is saying, social media doesn't have that charm anymore, which I agree with, because also I was thinking, you know, for example, what like social media has now become is this place where you do a performance, right? It's always very performative. So after a point, it's like, why am I doing this? And I feel like teenagers are getting that awareness much before we did. So I think we are getting it now in the last 2 3 years. I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah,
my
yeah.
generation of people around me are like, why am I doing this? Why am I showing this to other people? It just doesn't make sense. You know,
Hmm.
like, what likes, what is this? I mean, it is so meaningless, right?
Hmm.
So they are more on like, say for example, on Instagram, most of the activity I do is on DMs, where people are sending me things. My friends have a group, and I'm sending them posts, they are sending me posts, we are talking about these things, that things. I spend a lot of time on WhatsApp groups, for example, with
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
friends, where we are again sharing ye wo ho raha hai, whatever. I enjoy that aspect of social media where it has features which let you sort of engage with your friends better. So I think
Hmm.
Snapchat is that, right? Which is just randomness you can do with your friends. But personally, right? Without that
Yeah.
repercussion of like being like performative. Um, I feel like that matters, and I think that is what social media is going to become more or less. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. I think that one of the problems that this generation came up with was like one of the problems that our generation came up with was that whatever I say on social media is going to remain there forever. And someone 15
Hmm.
years from now may find out about it. And maybe I was a fool back then, but I don't want to be held responsible for it now. Like I have and
Ah.
you have and
Hmm.
everyone has,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
तो
Hmm. Hmm.
स्नैपचैट पे वो रिस्क है ही नहीं, तुम कुछ भी करो,
Hmm.
24 घंटे बाद वो गायब है, unless someone is like
गायब है.
has dedicated their life to archiving everything you have said, in which case
Yeah.
it becomes a problem. But Snapchat is very liberating in that respect. You just make a funny face, talk to your friend, send something to someone, and then you're done. It's
And
I will
Snapchat
not.
also tells you when someone takes a screenshot, right? If I'm not wrong.
I did
I
not know
think there
that.
is a feature which
Hmm.
which like if someone takes a screenshot, the app actually alerts you that the person has taken a screenshot.
Hmm.
Which is very interesting. I was like, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's interesting. It's so like you see a feature like this and you're like, well, this could be done. Why are those guys not doing it? Like everyone is
Exactly. It's
taking
like it's
screenshots of my messages and I don't know. Which is why
absolutely.
on Instagram I always ask people before taking screenshots of their chats, unless it's a troll, in which case it's just I don't owe them anything. But
Oh yeah,
like,
I also do that. Yeah. I mean I ask people if I want to. Um,
is it okay
even
if I
trolls I ask.
you ask trolls? What do they say?
I
They say
asked trolls also.
they
I'm
say
like,
yes.
hey, so you've said this nasty thing to me. Can I take a screenshot? And they're like, okay. And so either they delete it, which is fine. Or like, मतलब फट्टू आदमी है तो छोड़
Ah.
दो. But if they keep it and they're like, हाँ हाँ चल करना, तो I'm like, हाँ ठीक है फिर करता हूँ. Then I do it. It's like,
Hmm. Okay. You said that you have kind of reduced social media usage. You're still on Twitter. You're trying to make videos on Instagram. You are on Snapchat. Uh,
no, I'm not on Snapchat that regularly. I think I was there a few months ago. I keep going in and out. I don't know why. It's just like just to
okay.
see what has changed and what is the new features there. But
Acha.
then I have nobody to talk to there. I mean, like none of my friends use it. So
Follow me now. Follow me. Hold on. Do I have a
uh,
Snapchat? Like
I'll
I
have to
think this.
install it. No, Vimo, not right now. Please don't get me on Snapchat again.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. You tell me your handle
Yeah,
by WhatsApp and I'll try to follow you.
sure.
Uh, so my question is, do you think of like what is the definition of a social media platform? Which is like I personally find that a feed-based social network like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram is more predatory than something like YouTube, for example. Do you agree? Do you
Hmm.
think YouTube is a social media platform?
To an extent now, I feel like
Hmm.
because what we are doing right now is a very social activity, to be honest. Like, I mean, of course, both of us are talking, but of course, there are like other people also watching and talking to us. I mean, we are also reading some of the things that are happening. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Like YouTube, I feel like is going the social media way. It wasn't. It has just added more social features to it. But like Facebook or even let's say Facebook primarily, Instagram
Hmm.
also, to be honest, it was a picture sharing platform. Now it added yet on top of it. Twitter was a blogging platform. It added social features on top of it. So essentially, it these were not meant to be social media platforms. The only one that was meant to be a social media platform is Facebook. um I
No,
think
I
when
think
it was started.
Twitter was kind of supposed Twitter became a microblogging platform, but it was started as a social media platform because there was always like it started as an SMS based thing, right? People send SMS to one thing and it gets published on the web and everyone
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
it.
I remember I used to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Before SMS
140
became too
characters.
expensive for Twitter and they stopped. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So microblogging happened later when people started using it to publish links, talk to each other and all. 140 character opinion pieces. But Twitter started as a social network, not in the way that Facebook did. I don't think even Twitter realized it was a social network. But when people
Yeah, it
started
didn't.
doing at commands, Twitter integrated that into the service. Then it became properly recognizable as a social media platform.
Right. That whole at thing, hashtag thing, everything came from Twitter. Right. That it was not on other platforms before
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
Even Facebook got hashtags from there,
Hashtags.
trending topics
Everyone got
from there.
hashtags from Twitter only. Yeah.
Yeah. The hashtags were not a thing, but it was such a revolutionary thing also, where you just put a
Yeah.
hashtag and then put a word and you
Yeah.
can click on it and everybody who is talking about it can show up. I felt like that was just the best thing that Twitter has done ever,
Hmm.
like hands down,
Yeah.
is hashtags. um and so, like, think about it, right? Like, even back then, these were also features which they started just unknowingly, right?
Hmm.
Even the at mentions, for example, right? The at mentions, uske pehle ek rt dal ke uske pehle एक comment, that used to be a quote tweet. Like, there was a format which people had to learn, because that is how you talk on Twitter. Then they changed the entire thing to make it better, look better, make it easier for
Hmm.
you to quote tweet, etc. um but all of these features, like even at mention karna, that also Facebook stole from there.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think Facebook had that feature before, which is like you couldn't
I
do at and username.
I honestly can't think of a single feature that Facebook has that it did not take from elsewhere.
Hmm,
Do you know where the like
that's
button came
true.
from?
Like came from high five? No.
No,
uh,
friend feed.
Friend feed?
Do you remember friend feed?
No.
So back around 2010, when the fail whale was a thing, there were a bunch
Yeah.
of social networks that people were saying कि you know this will be like Twitter तो जल्दी ही मरने वाला है, अगर Twitter मर गया तो हम लोग कहाँ जाएंगे? So friend feed was definitely one of the options. It was run by a
Oh,
guy called Brett Taylor, who later went on to start a word processing thing called Quip. But
okay.
it's okay if you don't remember any of it. I don't know
No, I
why I
don't.
remember any of this.
Yeah.
But FriendFeed was a place which started the like button thing. And yeah, FriendFeed got acquired by Facebook. FriendFeed's
Okay.
feature got inserted into Facebook. You know how on Facebook, there's a post, and if someone clicks a like button, you see the like happening in front of you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Earlier, the page needed to be refreshed in order for you to see what has happened. So that live page
Oh, I
updation
remember
thing,
this. I
yeah,
remember this. Yeah.
yeah. The live page updation thing happened from Brett's software. They took everything from FriendFeed, shut down FriendFeed. Brett tried to keep FriendFeed alive for a number of years. I'm not sure if FriendFeed ever leads anywhere, but I don't think it does anymore. But FriendFeed was, there are people alive right now in, who have sorely missed FriendFeed, and we are very heartbroken when it got acquired by Facebook.
I had no idea about this at all. I don't know what is this. Do
So yeah,
you think
Facebook
Twitter
took
is
that
dying,
from
by
there.
the way?
Yeah, I think so. I
Like,
think
it
what's
will
going to
be
happen in the
not
coming days.
exist?
No, I think what will happen is that Twitter will return to the fail whale days, at least for some time, like server failures, चार दो दिन बंद, 4 दिन बंद, advertisers को loss होगा, users को loss होगा. Eventually, people will start treating it as a dying thing like MySpace, and then it will
Hmm.
eventually die. एक दिन अचानक Twitter बंद हो गया, ये नहीं होगा. But all of this is going to be accompanied by bankruptcy, lawsuits, पैसे नहीं है
Hmm.
वगैरह वगैरह. And Elon Musk is an irresponsible white boy ऐसे ही. So he'll just
Hmm.
continue doing what he does, and eventually it'll just uh, the decline has begun, I think.
Hmm. That's true. I mean, Twitter has been. I mean, the Twitter as we know it is gone for sure.
Yeah.
The amount of disruption that has happened in the last month. I mean, just irreversible disruption
Mm.
now. The whole verification system, all of that stuff. Um, it's a bit bizarre though. Like, I mean, यहाँ पे Samarth is also saying that he thinks that Musk is killing it
Musk is killing it
intentionally. As I said,
intentionally. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think he's doing it intentionally. He's like that bull in the China shop, no? Like, he didn't even know that it was a China shop. He just went in like, and then like started breaking things.
Huh, so that
Now
may be
he's
one
trying
of
to
the.
glue things together, and it's not working.
So here's the thing: like, if someone is trying to keep something alive, you'll see it in their behavior, right? I have not seen anything from Elon Musk's behavior that makes it appear as if he cares or wants
I
things to
have.
get better. Like what?
Oh, two things. One
Hmm.
is he keeps talking about how Twitter has the highest engagement ever,
Hmm.
right? He will
Hmm.
only say that if he wants to make investors and advertisers happy, which means
Hmm.
he wants survival. And the second thing he keeps saying is that, oh, Twitter is now the funnest place ever. Which is like, oh, it's so fun to follow World Cup there. Oh, it's so fun to follow the FTX crash there. Oh, it's fun to follow. So he keeps doing that, right? Which means that he wants more people to come there to get their information, uh, in quotes.
Hmm.
But so that I think makes me think that he doesn't really want it to die. Just that he wants his version of it, which is his version is also weird, na? Because he wants a Twitter where he only hears good things about himself. I think. I mean, he says that he's the coolest person. He says that he's yeah,
So let
but
me suggest a compromise, and you tell me if you agree on this. Elon Musk doesn't know what to do with Twitter
hmm,
because
okay,
he did. No, I'm willing to step back from he deliberately wants to kill it. If you will at least get to the point where Elon Musk does not know what to do with Twitter, because if he did, if he knew what is good for Twitter, he would not have fired almost everyone
yeah,
and then focused on the few remaining people who are comparatively unskilled compared to the people who have left.
hmm, hmm.
That अब सब कुछ तुम्हारे ऊपर है, तुमको हार्डकोर बन के काम करना पड़ेगा. A, it is exploitative, and B, it is kind of like someone who wants Twitter to do well will not do this, and if they did, we can justifiably call them really stupid.
So he is applying the management style of running a factory to a social media company. That is where the
Ha,
problem is, right? Which is
yeah.
basically to make products, right? Like even Amazon, for example,
Hmm.
like is freakishly exploitative
Yeah,
towards its
yeah.
employees. Software companies, on the other hand, are known to treat their employees with the most, like, spoil the hell out of everyone. Like if you see Facebook right now, the thing that they pulled back from Meta is that, oh, we won't be able to pay you for your laundry anymore. And everyone's like, oh my god, we can't get laundry from Facebook anymore. I'm like, are you serious? Like okay, they got dog grooming, they got like ridiculous amount of things on in Meta. They still do,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Even after this whole crash of their stock by 70%, they still get everything. Their canteens are chock full. I have done shoots there, so I know how crazy their canteen is.
Hmm.
Um, vending machines full of everything, including electronic devices for some reason, which you can just pick up and go. Um, it's weird, right? Like, but Microsoft also, for example, like they have like gyms, they have like all these fun places. There are like when they launched Xbox, for instance, they had like these giant Xbox gaming rooms where people used to just go to work to just play Xbox, right? Twitter was also basically like big canteen, all of these things. Now, software companies, like especially Silicon Valley companies, are known to do this, right? But factories and like product creating factories, which is like Tesla, which is like creating a car, they involve like people working on the floor, like, and going there and physically doing things.
Hmm.
Wahan pe you have to keep a watch on like their overtime. You have to keep a watch on how much time they're spending, because your entire production depends on how much a person is hours a person is putting in to
Hmm.
produce how many things, right? um so there is a very direct relationship there, but with the software company there isn't. You're given a task and a deadline maybe, and then you complete it, like in your own luxury. You don't have to be like at on the floor of it.
Okay.
Elon came in to Twitter and he applied the factory logic to Twitter, which is, oh, you have to come to work, or you have to do things from here, or you have to basically oh, तुमको खाना मिलता है यहाँ पे खाना क्यों मिलता है इतना एक्सपेंसिव क्यों है, why is the food so expensive here? I mean, it always has been. I mean, have you seen how Silicon Valley functions? And he is from Silicon Valley, apparently.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous to me. Like, you can't apply like a apples versus oranges situation हो गया यहाँ पे. ये apple force करने की कोशिश कर रहा है orange में. So that is the problem there.
Do you think what is happening at Twitter is less a result of what is happening at Twitter and more a result of general recession that is affecting Amazon, Google, Facebook, Meta, Twitter, Instagram, सबको?
I
Or do
feel
you think
like
there is something unique about what is happening at Twitter?
I feel like these platforms, so like I think it's related to what we were talking about earlier, right? Adding features. So I think even during the pandemic, you saw these platforms just going nuts with features because they saw like this user influx, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh shit, अब इनको ना इसको ये फीचर देगा, इसको ये फीचर देगा, उसको वो फीचर देगा, स्पेसेस ऐड करेंगे, फिर क्लब हाउस भी इसमें आ जाएगा, फिर स्टोरीज फ्लीट्स सब कुछ. But you had to do that uh, at the cost of increasing employees, right? I mean, of course, if you want to add
Yeah, yeah,
features,
yeah, yeah.
you need more people to do it
Hmm.
and manage it. So they did that, and now the features are gone because
Hmm.
everybody's like, yeah, why would I put up a story on Twitter? Why I spaces? Why am I doing this? Right? So now people are realizing कि we don't need that many features. I mean, वो pandemic के time पे कुछ करने को नहीं था तो फिर phone पे चल रहा था वो.
Hmm.
So they ended up employing a bunch of people. Now they're realizing shit up features नहीं है, अब यहाँ पे इनको क्या करेंगे. So they should have fired a lot of people earlier or not expanded that quickly.
Hmm.
I think they're just facing the repercussions of that right now. Um, and also like altruism went up a lot during pandemic. Like all
Hmm.
these companies are like, oh, we are going to save the world, we are going to spread information, we are going to spread information about vaccines and
Yeah.
and COVID and all of that. Now that it's done, everybody's like, ab kya kare? Up now we hired like we created like this entire division to manage COVID related news or whatever. COVID is done. Now what do we do with them? I mean, like, kahi to they tried like shuffling them around, putting them in places, but they're not engineers. They came in to do communications, and now they're like, okay,
Hmm.
bye. So that is what I think is also happening.
Hmm.
Um,
So you're like you. Let me ask you the question that you asked me. Do you think Twitter is dying?
I don't think it's so the platform. I agree. The Twitter.com will not go away so soon.
Hmm. Hmm.
There'll be something there, but I think I can see like a lot of people leaving, even in my
Yeah.
immediate like
Yeah.
whatever timeline. My timeline has changed drastically
Hmm.
over the last month. Like I don't see the familiar people that I used to on my timeline anymore, and I'm always on latest tweets. I'm not on
Okay.
like home, right? I'm
Yeah.
on latest tweets. I can see the activity has drastically dropped. I see like just news channels tweeting still. I see like anonymous people tweeting still, but all the blue tick people and everyone
Hmm.
there, I think I don't know, have gone quiet. They're just seeing what is happening. They don't feel the pressure anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's also me. So um, I feel like it has changed already. It's not the
Yeah. It
Twitter
has.
that I used to know, and I don't want to adjust to it again. I've done it
Yeah.
so much
Yeah. Yeah.
over the
Yeah. Yeah.
last 13 years. I
You
don't
know
want to
what's
do it again.
the thing that bothers me is that I cannot even imagine what kind of a relaunch they could possibly do for Twitter. Hey, come back
Hmm.
to Twitter. It still sucks. Like what is what is it going to be? Like what like uh, the things that did work will not work anymore, and the things that
Hmm.
did not work will continue to be the way they are. I cannot imagine, and maybe this is a failing of my personal imagination. I cannot imagine a scenario where a better Twitter emerges as a result of this. It's only going to be
I don't
worse.
think so either.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't think
only
so
going to be
either. Like
worse.
I think
Yeah.
it's already such a big mess.
Mm.
I feel like untangling this is a not worth anybody's time, including Elon's. To be honest,
Mm.
Elon has so many things to do. He has to
Like
take us to
what?
Mars. He has
Hyperloop.
to take us to Mars. Vimo, please,
Do you,
थोड़ा तो उस
okay,
पर
okay.
responsibility डालो.
We are at the 59-minute 30-second mark. We are going to have to end in about 5 minutes. But let me ask you this: would you trust Elon Musk to take you to Mars
I would trust him to build something that will take someone to Mars, if that makes sense.
alive?
Like,
Alive?
uh, I mean, whatever. Like, फट जाएगा,
No,
कुछ
this
तो
is
भी हो
not a
जाएगा,
whatever question.
accidents.
Going to Mars means getting there alive. Do you think
I
Do you
trust
think he's the kind of
NASA.
person?
I trust NASA more, to be
Ha,
perfectly
yeah.
honest. I
Because
trust
there's
NASA more.
accountability,
I
right?
trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Also, there
Yeah.
are legit more like crazy scientists working there. The James Webb Telescope. Have you seen the
Yeah.
craziness they're
Yeah.
doing with it? It's like what? And
Yeah.
I mean, all Elon has told us is that boss, मैं तेरे को Mars लेके जाएगा. But I mean, sure, he has made rockets that land back. That's actually a great innovation. Like,
He didn't do it.
in
Scientists.
space transportation. I mean, scientists did. Okay,
Yeah.
scientists did it.
CEOs
Um,
should not get credit for the work of employees.
yes, yes, yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Tesla, no, sorry, SpaceX did it.
Yeah.
Um, but think about it this way. I was watching the Artemis 1 launch that day. It's such a magnificent
Yeah.
project, right?
Yeah.
And Artemis 1 is just a rocket they have launched to test whether they can do this.
Yeah.
Then they're going to send humans. Then round 3 is when they try to settle on the moon first, like build some structure on the moon. Then वहां से हम मार्स के लिए लॉन्च पैड निकालेंगे. And like
That will
so,
be actually
the
cool. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just to
It'll be
watch
easier from the
that
moon.
happen.
It'll be easier from the moon. Yeah.
Exactly. And it seems more achievable also because they're not like, oh, हमको ना 2030 तक सबको मार्स लेके जाना है. They're like, no, we're going to do this step by step, guys. It's a
Yeah.
big thing. Going to Mars is not a joke. It's not a
And
meme.
going to Mars for practical reasons makes more sense because everyone who has a fantasy about going and living on Mars is just going to die.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
Mars,
I feel like,
you don't have recourse to easy, better living conditions. If at some point of time you are on the Mars, you're like, नहीं मुझे वापस जाना है, तुम instantly वापस जा
oh
नहीं
yeah.
पाओगे. It's not Bhagalpur. It's
Yeah,
Mars.
yeah, it's not.
You go
It's
there,
not.
you are stuck there for a long time, and it's going to take a toll on your health, your mental health, your every kind of health.
No, I think before Elon takes us to Mars, I think ISRO will take us to the moon definitely. Like, and I think India will have like a base on the moon before Elon takes us to Mars or whatever happens.
Yeah.
But
No, I have very cool visions about maybe not the near future, but at least medium range future, where we will all take elevators to orbit, and there will be
ooh, space elevators.
Chunnilal.
Like,
There'll be a orbiting bus station, and
yes.
Chunnilal will
Yeah.
be like starting up his ion engines. I बोला moon जाने का है. आप 2 घंटे में पहुंच जाओगे, पर गाड़ी में थोड़ा खराबी है, निकल के धक्का लगाना पड़ेगा और समथिंग बस की तरह लोग मून जाना आना करते रहोगे रोज एंड
No,
इट
but
विल बी
speaking of space elevators, you've read Foundations, I'm sure.
या या
The Isaac Asimov. So वहाँ पे I saw the series, the Apple series recently. There's this giant space elevator coming out of Trantor, right? Which basically takes people out of the
फॉल्स
planet,
अक्रॉस द
and
प्लैनेट हाँ हाँ हाँ
yeah, it falls across the planet. I was thinking that will be like nuts if it happens. Like not the falling, but even the space
या
elevator existing, something like that.
या
Yeah, go out of the atmosphere and look at space. That would be so cool. I
या
mean, I'm like,
there is an essay by Arthur C. Clarke, and he says that the structural integrity of something that tall will have to face serious troubles simply because the Earth itself is turning around. That turning will place such stress on a tall structure like
yeah,
that it's
yeah.
going to be difficult. And he said that we do have substances that may very well be able to take that kind of stress. One of those substances is carborundum.
Mm-hmm.
It's like close to diamond or stronger than diamond or something. But I read this a number of years ago, so I could be mistaken. A better solution is a platform supported by
Hmm.
many such structures,
Mm.
like an entire
Interesting.
orbiting. If that happens, people will even be living there. By the way, and it makes more
Yeah,
sense to live in Earth's orbit than to live on Mars. Because if you run into trouble on Earth's orbit, you can come down. Then मैं
yeah.
हॉस्पिटल जाके आता हूँ, मुझे थोड़ा अजीब लग रहा है. But on Mars,
True.
but thank you, Meghna. Thank you for joining. We are at the 1 hour,
Yeah.
4 minute mark. This was a very good conversation about social media, whether we should quit it, whether we should stay on it, what's going to happen to it, what's going to happen to us. And this was fun. I'll just remind everyone before we end, and Meghnath is going to remain on screen until we end. Before we end, I'll just remind people that there's a join button below which you can use to support this channel. and there is Patreon, etc. Hold on, आज भी तो मैं टिकर चलाना भूल ही गया, एक बार चला ही देता हूँ नीचे. That if you want to listen to the podcast, you can do so at vimo.in. If you want to buy merch, you can do so at kadakmerch.com/vimolive. There are t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. If you want to donate to the channel without becoming a member, you can do so at vimo.stck.me, which is my blog. There is a support button there. Click on it and pay any amount of your choice. And of course, there is Patreon. Did I say Patreon already? No, I didn't. There is always Patreon. You can make a monthly or an annual commitment, and you will also be supporting this channel. So, with that, Meghna, any final things that you want to say?
So we have launched a new show, guys. Page 10. On the ELI 10 feed only. So because there were so many people saying कि और ये current affairs के बारे में.
So, this
So
is
I
not going to be a
thought
separate RSS feed. It's going to appear on the ELI 10
it's the
channel
same
only.
audio feed as ELI 10.
Acha,
So
acha.
ELI 10 episodes come out on Friday. Page
Huh.
10 comes out on Mondays. So it's the same show essentially, but it's called Page 10. It's hosted by Abbas Momin. The idea is that you get 4 stories in 1 hour, 15
Hmm.
minutes each. We talk about, all of us bring one story to the table. We discuss it. We tell you about it. We discuss it, and then we move on. So for people who want to keep abreast with all the important things which we think are important for you to know nationally, internationally, please do follow ELI 10, where you will get the ELI 10 episode, and you will also get Page 10 now. So go there, do
Is
that,
this a, like
and
a
also follow my
designed?
channel.
Yeah, follow Meghna's channel. The link is in the title
Yeah.
of this video. It's called Meg Nerd. By the way, is this a like design decision that everything that happens on ELI 10 will have the word 10 in it somewhere?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
made that design decision. So like, I mean, I have a few more sub shows to launch there, so you'll see soon. So this
So
is
I
my
have a
second.
suggestion. I have a
uh,
suggestion. Start a show for people who are extremely hot but also extremely stupid, and call it "Explain Like I'm a 10."
Oh god. Oh, that's a great reality show. So I'm a 10 and you have to explain it to me like I am a 10. So you will always be like, oh my god, you're so hot.
Thank you, Milind, for the 179 rupees super chat. Much appreciated, sir, as always. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I will see you on Saturday at 9:30 p.m. I promise this time we will talk about atheism. Today's episode was supposed to be an atheism open debate slash discussion, but Meghnad kind of said yes at the last moment and I had to change the
Yeah.
agenda. But it was a fun episode. And on Saturday, we will talk more about atheism. So thank you. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.
Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Meghnad. Bye bye.
Yeah.